Okay, do you have his, we need probation in you. But in the meantime, Jared, you got his sheet.
We are back on the record, calling the matter of Commonwealth versus James LaCroix. This is an allegation that on July the 15th of this year in the town of Barnstable, you did break and enter with intent for misdemeanor. We are entering pleas of not guilty at this time on your behalf.
All right, Mr. LaCroix, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. LaCroix? All right, you have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I'm prepared to appoint today's bar. I've appointed an attorney for you, and she's going to be your attorney. There are several matters before the court. First is the charge of a B&E with intent to commit a misdemeanor in Barnstable on July 15th. I'm entering not guilty pleas for you. I'm appointing counsel for you on that case. There's also a petition filed by the police for evaluation. There's also a request for further evaluation under Section 15A. Laws Chapter 123 have the words competence and responsibility. Dr. Maiden has had an opportunity to examine you. We're going to start with that.
Thank you, Doctor. You raise your hand. Solemnly swear your testimony will offer you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so. I do.
Dr. Maiden, for the record, would you identify yourself, please?
I'm Dr. Donna Maynard. I'm a designated forensic psychologist in the Adult Court Clinic.
Do you have an occasion to examine Mr. LaCroix under the provisions of General Law Chapter 123, Section 12?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay, are you going to be recommending further evaluation?
I am.
Okay. Ms. Summers, do you wish to examine Dr. Maynard on her credentials?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Dr. Maynard, why don't you relate to the court your examination and the results thereof?
Your Honor, Mr. LaCroix is 53 years old. He does have a history of mental health diagnoses for which he's been hospitalized in the past. Most recently, he was hospitalized for over 30 days at the Westwood Lodge out of Falmouth. It was a team paper out of Falmouth back in November. And he tells me that they diagnosed him with a psychotic disorder not otherwise specified. He's presenting to me today as oriented and well-spoken, but clearly has some bizarre ideas that lead me to believe he may be having delusions. He tells me that he is taking a psychiatric medication, one prescribed typically for psychosis, but I do see symptoms of psychosis and I'm recommending hospitalization.
Right. Do you have a particular facility?
I do. They're able to take him in at Pocasset.
All right. In the meantime, is there any issue with the moment regarding his competence?
I believe hospitalization would restore that right now. But certainly that can be raised at the end of his hospitalization period at Pocasset.
All right. Ms. Summers, do you have any questions for Dr. Maynard?
I don't.
You wish to be heard?
Just on behalf of my client, Your Honor, he does not wish to have any additional treatment of any kind.
All right. Well, I understand that. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to come up with related facts in this particular case, just at the end of the record. My inclination is to issue the petition under Section 12 and postpone further arraignment and issues until he's returned. On that, we'll do a specific date for it. I understand the Commonwealth has many requests in this particular case. I want to defer them until I'm convinced of his competence, and I want to also see what Cassie has to say regarding for the record related facts.
Judge Edward and I do still have some concerns which I'd like to address after.
All right, I'll certainly allow you to do that.
After I do that, excuse me, Doctor. As it relates to the facts of the witness, Your Honor, this is a situation that occurred on July 15, 2014. Officer dispatched to 111 Irving Ave regarding a possible beating into a residence. They indicated or were told that there was possibly a 16-year-old boy in the house. Officers spoke with the father of the boy named Edward, who was in Connecticut, stated that he had a brief conversation with a man who was in his house who identified himself as James LaCroix, the defendant before you. Whilst outside the house after the officers responded, they did observe the man sitting on the couch reading a book. They entered the home, made contact. He identified himself once again as James LaCroix, the defendant before you. They made a sweep from the home, but could not find the boy who was identified as Kenny Kennedy. They spoke with Mr. LaCroix regarding his ties to the Kennedys and why he was at their home. He indicated at that point that he was there to see Katy Perry, the singer and entertainer, as well as John F. Kennedy. Added that he had a gift to give Katy. At that point, he began to ramble about his political views and his love for Katy Perry. It did appear to the police officers at the time that he was having some kind of issues psychologically. At some point, subsequent to that, Your Honor, he was taken into custody. A short time later, Teddy Kennedy, the young boy, did arrive home. Related to the police that, in fact, he was at home from the gym around 6:30 that evening. He walked into the house, and the individual before the court was, in fact, in the house. He indicated at that time that their family and friends do fairly frequently occupy the house, and he doesn't know everyone who comes down. He had a conversation with him. He wasn't really in fear of at the time. When he did leave, at that point, he received a phone call from his father, indicating that the man in the house was not supposed to be there, not to go home until the police, in fact, did arrive. His mother was there to take him into custody. That did eventually happen. Those are essentially the facts of the new incident, Your Honor. I do have some concerns as it relates to Mr. LaCroix's recognizance based on those facts, based on other things, as well as in open matters, other different courts, and other reports that have been made to the police. At this point, even respecting the doctor's decision, I would make a request for bail, and that his bail be revoked. And additionally, Your Honor,
I'm not going to revoke his bail unless you have some indication. I understand that there's an issue here of possible competence in mental illness. There's nothing in this man's history to indicate dangerousness or that he represents a danger.
Judge, the Commonwealth's position on that is he does continue to pick up crime in his open matters other than the Falmouth District Court.
I understand he's alleged to have been a new offense. The most recent appearance in Falmouth was as recently as yesterday, but I'm denying your request to revoke his bail. I'm not going to preclude you from asking an arraignment for either bail or conditions of recognizance. At the present time, he's best off at the Pocasset Mental Health Center. I would revoke his bail or set bail on him. He'd be in a different facility getting not as good evaluation as I expect him to get from Pocasset. They will not accept the prisoner. They will accept a section 2.
Well, I understand that as well, Your Honor. I understand that also under 12B at some point, the individual is allowed to leave on their own recognizance. If in fact this person recognizes in which he's being allowed to go there, the initial request the Commonwealth would have at this time would at least put him on a GPS with a stay-away order from that residence.
I'm going to order that he stay away from that residence. I'm going to give you a relatively short date to return, probably before. We'll be hearing from Pocasset relatively soon. And at least at this time, I'm not going to place him on the GPS. But there is, to the extent that I have the ability to tell him this, you to stay away from this particular premises. You understand that? Okay.
Your Honor, if I could just be heard, the
Sure.
Commonwealth has addressed the police report. I would just like to advise the court that when this young Ted Kennedy did come home, my client was on a couch reading a book. At no time were there any threats or any violence made.
I heard that, and that's the reason why I'm not revoking his bail. The man has not committed any offenses for most of his life until recently.
Right.
And he has nothing on his record. There's 2 cases, neither of which immediately suggest that he represents a danger. He could represent other issues, but I'm not saying that walking into a house, finding a stranger sitting on your couch reading a book is not a potentially bad situation, but I don't see in this instance a reason to revoke bail in Falmouth, or at this time, instead of setting bail. I think what's going to happen to him is the most important thing that should happen, and that is he should sort of go to a competent medical facility take it to the next level on the next date, which is going to be his arraignment, of actually postponing the arraignment until that next date.
So at this time, all questions are reserved until the further.
I will allow the comment, I won't include the comment for any time asking for the appeal.
Thank you.
And or conditions of appeal, including the GPS. I'm just not going to send them to casting.
Thank you.
All right. The date?
August 13th, please.
All right, August 13th. We expect he's going to be there. We don't know.
We don't know. They have review after 3 days.
Okay. Can you ask